Hello to all the Barstoolers listeners here on YouTube. I'm not sure if this is going to go on the streaming services because it's not the normal podcast. We're diversifying our content. This week we're going to be talking all about Ireland on the international break. So apologies if you're a subscriber or a listener who doesn't follow Ireland, but maybe you could learn one or two things about the boys in green by listening to this if you can. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe, like, comment, all that stuff helps us out massively. We've been really happy with the support. We're nearly at 50 subscribers. We've just got 100 followers on Twitter. Again, all the links will be in the bio. But going into the actual content video, it's just Ronan joining me today. I think we're going to have a transfer special for the Premier League coming out soon. And then next week, we're going to be going back to the normal podcast. But today, we're talking all about Ireland's massive game on Thursday against Slovakia. It's in Slovakia as well. And it's going to be the Euro 2020 playoff semi-final. It's very convoluted this year, how you get to the Euros, but it'd be brilliant if we were able to get to it. So we've got 2 games under Stephen Kenny so far. It was a 1-1 draw away to Bulgaria and a 1-0 loss against Finland. Did you watch them games?
I did not, but I heard like for the most part we were playing better football. I know there was a lot of reaction to the first 2 results. People saying, "Oh, Kenny's it was dead" and all this. It was like he's coming and he's trying to change the style of play completely, especially considering he's got them trying to play the way any Kenny side has done. Good passing football, which is not typically Ireland's side of play. So it's going to take a while for teams to get used to it, especially the fact that most of that team that he had there is a team that's been together for the last 3 or 4 years anyway. So they're kind of used to playing one side of football. Under Martin O'Neill, and Mick McCarthy didn't really change much when he came in. So it's going to take a while to get used to that side of play. But I do think we seem to be playing better football at the very least.
Yeah, 100%. It's definitely going to it's going to take some time to start implementing that style of football. And weirdly enough, this might be a point that the McCarthy truthers, the O'Neill truthers might have said that we don't have the players. But the point is that we do have players coming up, young players. A lot of them, you've seen Ida start against Bulgaria. I thought it was too early for him. Malumbi played against Finland and he was okay. Connolly's a little bit more senior. I think he's 21 and he's been playing quite a bit with Brighton. But we can't throw all of these players in, even the likes of Darragh O'Shea, who's getting some football in the Premier League now at West Brom. You can't throw them in. So I think it's going to take a couple of years to get used to this style of football, the players. And I hope he gets that time. I think there was a bit of overreaction, especially to the game against Finland, because I seen a lot of negative reaction saying we are terrible. And I don't agree with that at all. It was nothing special, but I think we generally control the game. But again, getting used to that style of football, we create absolutely nothing. That was the problem. So hopefully that will be fixed for Slovakia. And weirdly enough, I think those 2 fairly disappointing results might help us because it dampened down a bit expectations, I think. So maybe we'll go up against Slovakia sort of as the underdogs, and that can help us because we're not used to being the favourites. It was weird. You seen Dundalk last week going in favourites in the Europa League playoff, and it was a weird thing, I think, for Irish players to be favourites,
Yeah, especially, a lot of people are saying, oh, maybe we're playing better football under Kenny, but the results under O'Neill were getting us to major tournaments. I mean, you got 2 major tournaments in a row. 2 European Championships in a row by playing fairly negative football. And I mean, I suppose there is a lot to be said for that when you have the big man up top and if it's working, but it's been for years now, Irish football fans have not been happy with the way Ireland have playing. And especially against Bulgaria and Finland, you touched upon it. Stephen Kenny was trying out new players who hadn't really played for us before. Darragh O'Shea, Jason Malumbi, Adam Ida. Even Connolly hasn't played that much for Ireland before. So they're also people who are getting used to the international setup as well.
Yeah, going into the lineup, you've got your predicted team. I've got mine. I can't imagine they're too different because we are pretty limited. I'm going to go ahead and assume that our goalkeeper and back 4 are the exact same. It sort of picks itself.
Randolph, Doherty at right full, Duffy and Egan centre halves, and Stevens at left full.
Yeah, 100%. The only one decision you'd have to make there would be Doherty and Coleman, and Coleman's injured. So we're not going to play Cyrus Christie ahead of Doherty, that's for sure.
But hopefully Duffy,
not. Yeah, absolutely. Randolph, he's a good goalkeeper, but I seen someone raise this fact that Dan Randolph, he's West Ham's backup goalkeeper. And then we've got Mark Travers, who's Bournemouth's backup keeper. and then Kevin Kelleher, who's Liverpool's third choice. So that's not very encouraging.
I wish he was our second choice at this stage.
Yeah, he could well get some minutes. He honestly could after that performance with Alisson injured. So Randolph, he's a very good goalkeeper, but that's kind of worrying. I don't know why he went to West Ham that time. He's never going to be first choice.
He's not ahead of Fabianski anyway. I mean, I think most people would be in agreement out of the teams that are kind of around always in the bottom half of the Premier League table. Fabianski is probably always up there, first or second best out of those keepers.
Yeah. And then Duffy, he picks himself, absolute monster of a centre-back. John Egan, brilliant centre-back as well. And Stevens, very good full-back, even though those two haven't had the best starts of the season. The Sheffield United, John Egan, for example, got sent off there in the last game, or the game before last, I think. So going into midfield, maybe a little bit more options here. I'm going with McCarthy at the 6. He's a fairly limited player, but he's good to have that steal in midfield, and he is getting his game with Crystal Palace at the minute.
Yeah, it's had a very good start to the season as well. I think even Basha Day and some of the pundits have been pointing out that him and McCarthy have been playing very well together in the Crystal Palace midfield. So I think we don't really have an out-and-out 6 anymore with Glenn Whelan not playing. So I think I can't see him not starting. Yeah,
he's pretty limited, I think. Kenny is touching the fact that he's got really good passing, and I don't agree at all. I think he's a reliable number 6 there, but can be a bit frustrating. I think he slowed us down a lot of the time against Bulgaria.
It's like Martin O'Neill said about Chris Shields. If he could pass the ball, he'd be incredible.
Yeah, exactly. So then going into the 2 number 8s, because it's very clear Stephen Kenny wants to play with that 4-3-3 with the holding midfielder. I've got Hendrick. He's had a good start to the season with Newcastle. He's got 1 goal, he's got 1 assist, and according to WhoScored.com, he's got a rate of 6.79, which is pretty good because they're not very generous, WhoScored.com. Yeah, I think he's really suited Newcastle. The only thing is he has played on the right wing with Newcastle, as he did with Burnley over the last 1 or 2 years, so I don't know if his form can translate to the Irish setup. It doesn't usually, apart from Euro 2016. And then beside him, Conor Harahan, he's just a brilliant footballer, isn't he? Just a wand of a left foot. He's had a good start to the season with Villa as well. He's played 2 games. He's got a goal, an assist. And in his 2 games, he's got an average rating of just under 7.6, which is brilliant by WhoScored standards, although it is a pretty small sample size.
Yeah, I've gone for the exact same midfield there.
Are we going to predict the same team?
Well, the front 3 might be a bit different, but
yeah.
But the midfield, it's midfield again. I know Jack Byrne's coming to the side, and as a League of Ireland fan, it's a dog fan. People be like, oh, maybe you'll say other players should have got a call up. I think Jack Byrne's been incredible since the restart of the League of Ireland. I know Shamrock Rovers have run away with it at this stage, and I think he's a very good footballer. I think everybody would agree this is not the game for Jack Byrne to be getting his first start for Ireland. No, he's got a start, but not the game for him to get his first competitive start. You kind of have to go for players that are tried and trusted at this stage. If it was a group stage game against someone like Georgia or Gibraltar, you'd be saying, oh, fine, give him his competitive start. Great player. Would love to see him in an Ireland shirt playing for Ireland, but I just don't think this is the game for him. Jason Malumbi as well, another great player. Again, he hasn't got that experience yet. I don't think that Hourihan and Hendrick have. So I think I'd be surprised if Kenny went for anyone else.
Yeah, seeing Jack Byrne linked there with a move to Bournemouth. Obviously, it didn't happen yesterday with deadline day, although I'm not sure if the deadline's the same for EFL. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But it just shows his really good form. He is carrying, I think, a slight knock. I think he'll be fine. But obviously, his position is number 10, which Ireland don't play with. That's why I don't think he was called up to last month's squad. He can play on the right-hand side. He's done that for Rovers. And right-hand side is actually a very weak position for Ireland, to be honest. So possibly, but I'd be shocked if he start. So going into the front 3, on the right-hand side, I've got Callum Robinson. I'm not his biggest fan, but he is a good player. He's a little bit, I don't want to say raw, because that's something you'd associate with young players, but he's a little bit unpolished, maybe not the most reliable option. But again, right-hand side, who are you going to start? You've got Jack Byrne, you've got Callum O'Dowda, who I'm not a fan of at all. Very limited options there. So Callum Robinson, he's had a good start to the season with West Brom, scoring twice against Chelsea, although he does play as a striker for them. On the left, I've got Aaron Connolly, because he just gives us a little bit of class. The other options you've got is Robbie Brady, who he just doesn't really get the minutes for Burnley. I do like him, but I'm not entirely convinced. And then James McLean, who I just don't like at all. Not a great footballer, to be honest. Conley, I think he's probably better as a striker and just sort of floating out to that left-hand side rather than constantly being on that left-hand side, cutting inside. He's, again, a raw player. You can say that because he's young, but he does have that X factor, and he's had a good start to season with Brighton. And then up front, a striker who doesn't score goals, David McGoldrick, although he did score on Saturday.
Did you, as Sanderberg would say?
Yeah, did he? Yeah, I'm not sure when that game was, but he did score at the Emirates.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Yeah, so he's played regularly for Ireland over the last year or two, and he just gives up his absolute all. His movement's fantastic, and he's starting to add 1 or 2 goals. He scored a couple of goals there against Chelsea at the back end of last season, and he's just a classy footballer. And with Robinson and Conley either side, I think they provide enough goal threat rather than having to play maybe a Shane Long.
So I've only gone for one difference in our starting lineup.
Well, at least there's one.
Yeah. I've sort of gone for Robinson on the right as well, even. Though you're same as yourself, we don't really have much options on the right wing. He's not really a right winger, but I was at the game against New Zealand there just before the Denmark game. I was probably one of our better players on the pitch. Again, it's only a friendly against New Zealand, and there really wasn't that many people there to see it. I don't think many people were overly bothered with it, but he looked promising enough. He's got a little bit of international experience, and like that, he's had a good start to the Premier League season, so can't really see who else we would put in there. Again, unless you said like you wanted to play Jack Byrne, but again, I really, really, really would be surprised if we played Jack Byrne in this match. Then on the left, I've gone for James McLean. I'm like yourself, don't rate him, don't like him, but he just keeps getting picked. I'd rather have Aaron Connolly there, but it doesn't matter who we have as manager. He just keeps on getting picked. And I think
he can't keep getting away with this.
A lot of people, I think it's just that everybody's on about his passion, all this, and people think of Ireland's national football team. A lot of people who aren't Irish think, "Oh, James McLean."
Yeah,
because like he's just extremely outspoken and a little bit of a controversial figure. Yeah. So yeah, I think he's just.
He had good form with Stoke last year, to be fair.
I think a lot of people are of the opinion that he's a big game player and he always shows up in the big games. Mm-hmm. Again, I wouldn't be of that opinion, but just on his reputation alone, I think he'll probably get in there ahead of Conley. And then, same yourself, did see we don't really have many other strikers. Yeah. I don't even think Sean Maguire got called up for the squad, did he? No,
I don't think he did.
So the only other striker really we have is Adam Ida.
Or Shane Long,
and neither of them have really had amazing form this season. Well, actually, I think Adam Ida's playing for Norwich, but he doesn't have international experience. So yeah,
very good option to have off the bench, though.
Yes,
big strong lad. So then going into our opponents, Slovakia. You look at their recent form. The Nations League would obviously be the most relevant. They drew against Israel. They lost 3-1 against the Czech Republic. And then going into their results in the qualifiers, which is going back quite a while now, but they bet Azerbaijan 2-0. They lost to Croatia 3-1. They drew 1-1 with Paraguay in a friendly, and they drew 1-1 with Wales. That's their last 6 games. So not great form. Only the one win there. A lot of draws, 1-1 draws. So probably not too dissimilar to ourselves.
Yeah, I kind of have down here, they're kind of probably the same standards as ourselves. They don't have any standout players like they used to, really. They have Skriniar at centre half, who's very good by all accounts, but he's not. He's not Shane Duffy. I don't think. No, not at all. It's Skriniar at centre half. They don't have Mark Hamsik anymore. I think he's retired from the international setup. So they don't really have anyone there that's going to particularly stand out. Particularly up front, I don't think their strikers are prolific in any way. The striker that's played the last match against Israel, Mikhail Duris, only scored 5 goals in 20 league games in the Cypriot League last year. Did score against Israel, so yeah, we can't completely write him off. And then their other striker who played in the game against Czech Republic, Berencic, I think it is. He's only 20 years old, and he's only played last season. He plays for Feyenoord, and he scored 2 goals in 5 league games for them. So I don't think they're going to cause us too many problems going forward. It's just how they're going to set up defensively. Like that, they've got Skriniar in defence, but their other centre halves play for. One of them plays for Mallorca, who are in the second division of Spain. The other one plays for Sparta Praga, and then the other one plays for a team called Solar. What are they called? Salernitana, who are currently 10th in the Serie B. Right. So they have one incredible centre half there, and then the other centre halves they have aren't exactly anything to write home about.
Yeah. If you look at that's the one note I have, pretty similar to us, just a real lack of goals. The three strikers that they've called up have 5 goals between them for Slovakia. They've got a winger, Robert Mack, who's got 12 goals for them, but I think he's 29 years old, so he's played from quite a long time. They have a midfielder who joined Napoli last January for 24 million euros. He's the most expensive Slovakian player of all time, Lobotka. So he's one to keep an eye on. And actually, their goalkeeper, I'm not sure if he's going to start, but he's one that me and you will be familiar with as Dundalk fans. Dominic Grief.
One of the best. Obviously, he started in the game against Czech Republic and conceded 3 there, but obviously Czech Republic are a different standard than Dundalk, unfortunately. But yeah, Dominic Grief, from what I've seen of him in the 2 games against Dundalk last year in the Europa League, really, really good. He's got incredible reflexes. He's an absolute giant as well, so you're not going to be beating him. He's going to get those. Yeah,
he's an incredible goalkeeper. Who really is.
The only goal Dundalk scored against him was from a huge deflection off a Duffy shot.
Yeah, like that game in Tala, we were all over them really.
Yeah,
but he was just keeping them in the game.
Yeah, it's made an incredible penalty save as well. I think he dived the wrong way and then stuck his foot out and knocked it onto the crossbar. And he made 1 or 2 brilliant saves in the first leg as well. So, but the other goalkeeper then is Rodak for Fulham, who's a Premier League goalkeeper. So
yeah, Dubravka as well, but I think he's retired.
Yeah, so goalkeeper wise, they're
sorted.
Yeah. I don't think we'll be having any Adrian situations.
Their squad is generally the same as ours, with just a couple of really good players thrown in. Your Skriniars, your Lobotkas. Robert Mack looks okay. The young striker for Feyenoord, he looks decent. But very similar level to us. If their big players don't show up, we have a real chance, I think.
Yeah, it's hard to call. I'm not going to sit here and say Slovakia are terrible, because we're kind of the same standard, same kind of level. But like that, if their big players don't show up, I really think Ireland have a good chance of going through. It's going to be very tight though. It's only going to be a 1-0 or 2-0 or something like that. There's nobody going to be running away with it.
Yeah, if I had to predict realistically on this preview show, I'm not going to predict Ireland to lose. I'm going to go for a tight 1-0 win to get Stephen Kenny's first win as Ireland manager and take us through to the playoff final against either Bosnia or Northern Ireland. So what's your prediction? It will be nice now.
I'm going to go for 2-0 Ireland. I think it's going to be really tight.
Wow.
We get one. We're going to get one. I think we're going to get one like right at the death.
Ireland scoring 2 goals in a competitive fixture away from home against a team ranked higher than us.
When was the last time we did that?
Probably when we bet Wales that time.
Probably, yeah. No, we didn't even.
Well, we didn't even score 1.
We only scored 1. We done 1-0.
Honestly, I couldn't tell you, man. Time? How are we predicting us to win? We're terrible.
I was going to say Italy. We only scored 1 against Italy as well.
2 against... I genuinely don't know.
Jesus Christ, we're not good at football, are we?
No. But anyway, hopefully we will get through to the final against Bosnia or Northern Ireland. Hopefully in a month's time, you're going to be tuning back in for our preview show of that. But thanks for tuning in today. Again, as I said at the top of the video or podcast, if you're listening to it on such platforms, all the links are in the description. We'd really appreciate if you subscribe and like the video. It helps us out massively. And I think we can all agree, come on you boys in green. Big game on Thursday. Thank you for watching.